All right, guys, we're live. We're live. Hope everyone can hear me and hope everyone can see my screen. Good morning, guys. Let me just mute my devices.
I hope
Just briefly
I'm
mute my.
audible. You can hear me, yeah?
Yeah. Can hear you clearly. Can hear you. Yeah.
All
Good
right.
morning,
Good morning,
guys.
guys.
Yeah. Good morning, guys. So hope everyone is enjoying the state of the market. Happy New Month to everyone. Happy New Month. Happy New Month. Wishing everyone the best this month. This is the last month of the year. And
Funny enough, this year has actually come to an end.
yeah. The year has come to an end. The year where we were expecting BTC to most likely go above 150K. The bullish year, Donald Trump's first year.
It's
We have
crazy.
actually reached the last month of the year. So please, GM everyone, comment where you're watching from. You can start dropping questions or chats you want us to look at. You can start dropping it. Feel free to share the link to whoever you want to share the link to, whoever you want to invite. And let us also know where you're watching from. Yeah, it's very, very important. And if you're not following, feel free to actually follow. All right, so let's jump straight to the chat. Space now, we've missed you for about 2 days now. What are you
Yes,
seeing
I've
in the
missed you
market?
guys. I've missed you guys too. Just been busy with a few things. The market, yesterday or early
And
this morning, we saw.
today that you're joining, you're giving us a dump in the market, like guy.
The
Since
crazy.
you were not here, we did not see any dump. We don't see any. Like, see, now you they make the market dump.
I miss every me market pump. It's crazy because this market is just something else. You know,
Yeah.
this morning I just woke up this morning and I'm seeing Bitcoin at 86K. I'm like, what's going on again? What's the cost of this one again? But
But
we
this
all
was
know,
expected. We'll look at the
yes,
chart though. We'll look at the chart. We'll look at the chart.
yes,
Well,
because
I'm
we've
listening.
talked about it. We've talked about it severally. Where even if this market pumps, we should not just think everything is rosy and we are just going to 110K and so. But most of the times, you just believe that if this dump is going to happen, at least all should have pumped first before we see just a little bit of weakness. But if you check, like I was tracking Sura, I like to talk about Sura because of the swing opportunity in Sura. Sura pumped, but Sura hasn't really dumped since this market went back. It's still maintaining that a little bit of that support around 35 to 40 range. And I feel if these markets can maintain a bit, we could see Sura go high back to maybe 8 million to 10 million, right? Because
Yeah.
their beta is live. Their beta is live. Their token now has utility. You can use it to purchase Oracle services and all that good stuff. So it's actually a good improvement on their own angle. So I don't know. The market is giving us another opportunity for long trades, futures
But then,
trades, spot trade.
but then again, those that have been consistently following us on this live stream, sincerely, they are supposed to be making some good gains from Sora, like sincerely. Because if I want to look from the last time Sora was at 2.5 M or 2.4, where I gave a bit of analysis and how they can swing trade it to consistently make about 25-30%, about 2 to 3 days, almost every 2 to 3 days. I did that analysis live and people saw it. Now, if you notice, even since that day, I think that was last week, Friday, when I did that, or 2 Fridays ago, yeah, about almost 2 Fridays ago, Sora has given that opportunity like about 2 to 3 times. This is third one actually. So people that
Mhm.
actually took advantage of that, they are supposed to be in profit because Sora, today is Monday. Sora dumped, was it Thursday or Friday, to 3.1 or 3M, and yesterday it bumped to about 4.1. You get
Yes.
which was 4.1, 4.2, which most times I don't look at the very top, which that guarantees you 25% for swing, like just swinging it, 25%. And this morning it went back to 3 million again, giving you
Mhm.
another opportunity again to like swing. So people that have actually been swinging it for the past 8 days now, they should have at least swinged it minimum 2 times, like the very, very minimum 2 times. And they should have made like really, really good profits swing trading it. Except for those that most times they just watch and they don't try out most of these things. Like they don't actually experiment it. They don't practicalize it, except that. But if you do, you find out that most of the things we've been seeing, we've been doing this stream now for 1 month. 1 month that we've been doing
Mhm.
this. Yeah, so you find that the things we've been seeing for the past 1 month, they're actually things that can constantly make you profit. But yeah, about BTC dump, I saw that dump coming. We'll still talk deeper on it when we look at the chart. Yesterday on Clubhouse, for those that joined the Clubhouse via Telegram, where we share the link. If you haven't joined the Telegram, let me just share the link on the screen. You can join. Yeah, on Clubhouse yesterday, I said something about the BTC pump. I also shared an LTC Litecoin trade. Shared the Litecoin trade there to which pumped. That trade was supposed to be about 1 to 3, I think, but it did slightly above 100% before it dumped. It was supposed to be a 1 to 3 risk to reward, but it did slightly above. It did, I think, 1 to 1.5 before it dumped this morning. Yeah, but we'll look at that on the chart when we start looking at the chart. I said something that BTC was at a resistance. Yes, it was actually at a resistance. That's yesterday. And we're being hopeful, expecting it to break above that Sunday evening where we expect the charts to actually start pumping. I share the time frames where charts usually pump on Sundays and sometimes into Monday morning, like into Monday morning. Now, the opposite of that is you see a dump. So before sleeping yesterday, there was a news that dropped, a bearish news that actually dropped. I think it dropped around 7, 8,000. I saw it yesterday evening. And the market started dumping at around 12:01. I was sleeping when the market dumped. I was actually sleeping. I woke up to see the dump. But I saw this news that China reaffirms crypto ban after noticing speculation has resurfaced. Let me even share it. I saw the news yesterday night before sleeping. I saw it yesterday night. I was like, these guys, they have started again with this bearish news. What's the plan now? It was yesterday night. I'm trying to share the screen. I saw it. It popped up on Twitter yesterday. So okay, hope you can see my screen. Hope everyone can see my screen.
Yes, we
Okay.
see your screen.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So I actually saw this news that yesterday. That was when I saw the news, and it was actually a bearish news. China reconfirms crypto ban after noticing speculation has actually resurfaced at all. I saw it and I just knew it was actually a bearish news. So all I just did was, before I saw the news, I'd already started adjusting some of my trades, like the LTC trade. There was one that I left that I took on a different platform entirely, MT5, that I took that trade. That one I did not set stop loss. Like I did not adjust stop loss, rather. It was in profit, but I didn't adjust it. That one I woke up this morning, it has hit my SL loss. But the other ones, like on Bybit, that I adjusted to protect profit and all those things, those ones closed out in profit. Thus, another gentle reminder when you get too bullish. That one I didn't. I didn't adjust it. I just left it. And I woke up this morning. In fact, the stop loss was so low that I felt LTC would never hit this price. But I woke up this morning, LTC was at 77. Yeah, it was at 77. My BTC trade, obviously, that one, it closed out in profits because I was aggressively adjusting that one, which I also shared on Clubhouse that it had moved. So there was no need for them to actually join that particular trade because it has already moved very much. So people need to actually understand most times, be more reactive to the markets. Like it's very, very important. This news, there was a news about what was it called? Futures trade that would soon be closing, a contract, futures contract that would soon be closing. Although that one came in late last week, Friday, Saturday, that's when that news came in. So most times we tend to see some of this bearish news, but we most times do not pay attention to it. Now, I'm tempted to switch to the charts before we look at other things. Okay, let me just switch to the charts briefly before we get back to other things happening in the market. Let me switch to the charts just briefly, please. Let me just switch to BTC. All right, I don't know. Hope you can see my screen.
No, your screen is not live.
Okay, should be live now. I just added it. Should be live now. You can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
For those just joining, GMGM, for just joining, feel free to start dropping your questions. Feel free to drop questions. Yeah, so I'm looking at this BTC chart. Looking at this BTC chart, let me just zoom in. By the way, this is a trade I took immediately. I woke up and I saw BTC down, like at this level. So I had to enter that trade. I entered at 80, 85K, something like that. That's just around there. I entered this trade. Immediately I woke up and I saw BTC top. I just looked at the chart and I entered that trade. Yeah, now if you look at this, if you watch our last video, you'll notice that these lines were already drawn. If you notice, this trade was not shared live. This one, it wasn't shared live. The one that was shared was this one, which hit TP. This one too, which hit TP. This one was taken after BTC corrected during the weekend. So I just took it again. This particular, if you notice, this one did not go to hit TP, but I was able to adjust and exit from this one in profit because I was adjusting my stop loss. So I was able to exit in profit from that one. So just so this can be bigger. Now, if we notice, we had this line drawn already, this box from last week where we drew this, or even maybe from week before last. And it was very clear when we went above this, zone that made this trade to hit TP. When we told you guys to close this other position, this one here, to close it because of this one we just entered based on this new support that was created. For those that were live, we did this full analysis here. We asked people, close these trades because you've seen the rejection here. Now there's an order block here to attempt to go back to that level again. And if that level doesn't hold, it will break. So this particular trade, close it, adjust your SL to entry or protect profits. We said it the day we entered this trade here. We actually said that. So if you notice, this trade gave us full TP. We entered another one, which gave us full TP. This one was not shared. This was over the weekend that I entered this one. Now, when this zone rejected, probably because of news or anything, because those China news dropped over the weekend. You can say it's because of news. You can say it's because of the monthly candle closed, because the monthly candle closed around here, I think somewhere around here. You can call it that, anyone. But when this zone was rejected, we are unable to go past this level. You can see it. It was rejected. Where is the next zone? Here. And if you guys notice, I said it on Friday. That Friday that I was saying, usually on Fridays, the market tends to dump. Usually. And as at that day, we were still almost heading to 93K. And I said what I would prefer is for BTC to come down to this level. Like I said it that day, that's what I would prefer, for BTC to dump down to this level. But I did say it that I would not be shorting. I would not short because we had some bullish sentiment. I would actually not short the market. But what I would prefer is if BTC can crash down to this level to fill up all of this fair value gap. This will be the zone that I'll be most interested in taking a long from. Like I said it that last week, Friday, that this level is where I'll be very, very, very interested. And that's what I was saying that day, that even these trades, even this one I took, I was saying that I was being very careful, ensuring to make sure I adjust my stop loss to protect profit, which was why I think I swinged this trade twice. The first time I closed out somewhere around here. I got back in again. Yet I remember I said something like that. I got back in again. So the whole thing that was playing out in my mind that I was expecting was rejection. That was what I was hopeful that would happen. We see a rejection. and the market allows us to get in at better prices, like way better price. And this was the zone I was actually looking at. It's possible we can still come down lower to do a double bottom here. It's very possible. But the zone I was very interested in taking a long from was actually this zone. So it was not a surprise for me when I woke up this morning and I saw this dump. Yes, I just had to react very fast, rush to the chart, check, and I noticed that okay, it's where I was hoping it gets to. And I set my SL and I got into this long position. Now, if you guys notice something else that happened, if you guys notice, altcoins dumped like crazy, which actually aligns with what we've been seeing. Like it did align perfectly with the same thing that we had been saying, which I said it last week that BTC broke above 90 something K. If it is unable to go above that 93 or hold that level for a while for altcoins to reprice and it dumps, altcoins will dump more than they had before because the altcoins had not yet repriced. They were majorly sitting on support. If you look at the likes of even LTC was sitting on support. I was telling you guys LTC was really on the bad. See this trade. This was a trade we took that I shared on LTC yesterday on the Clubhouse. This particular trade was a trade I shared. So after sharing it, let me switch to one. After sharing it, it actually moved. You can see the trade. After I shared it, it actually moved. Like it's actually moved and did over 100%. Yes, and before that reversed, went back to entry point, tried to go up again, played around there. Then at night when BTC dumped, it just gave up. Now you can see how crazy it dumped. Like just see how crazy it dumped. This is a similar thing that happened to almost all altcoins, which was what, if you look at the charts, it's like similar thing. When we looked at SEC last week, I said it that if SEC loses this zone, that's when we drew this line. If it loses this zone, it's going down. So you notice the same thing happened to most altcoins, which aligns with what we have been saying that should BTC dump this trade, I got lucky. I exited because I was adjusting it also too. Should BTC dump, you see the same thing on all altcoins. If BTC dumps, most alts will be forced down, like all of them. See Avalanche. They are majorly sitting on support, most of them. They were on that support and they had not repriced. And now BTC dumped just to 86K, not like it went to 80K, just 86K. See how badly the altcoins dumped. So if you notice something now, BTC dominance should have climbed a bit higher. Only one or two altcoins, just few that didn't dump. One of the ones we have been bullish on, we're telling people to accumulate AR. Notice AR still didn't dump. We're talking about AR since like accumulate 3 point something dollars or thereabouts. AR did not really dump, but most and major altcoins they actually dumped. Ori has still been around the same price. So many, if you look at what you're seeing here, -10, -9, most of them they really dumped. So these are like some things you want to pay attention to. The charts actually gives you some information on what to expect in the markets. The problem is most times people don't pay attention to it. Most times. Now, still looking at this BTC chart, yes, we are still on a mini downtrend, depending on the time frame you're looking at. You can see it trying to return back to this zone because of this little resistance here. But should it go above this resistance, if it goes above that, then it will go up to hit my full and take profit for this particular BTC trade. Yeah, so it's very important most times when you see these things happen on the chart or in the market, you have to ask yourself, why did this thing happen? Like, why? What caused it? Is it magic? Can you back it up with anything, or is it just guesswork or speculation? If you go back to the chart, you find out that there are like verifiable reasons why you can see why some of these things actually played out. And even if maybe you were long and you lost the trade, you didn't manage the position, you lost the trade, you should always check, why did that long fail? Was it based on a negative news that was dropped, or was it based on panic? Once you're able to define those things, you now decide if to get back in on another long or if it's just to dump your full bags. It's very, very necessary. You also be able to decide if there's a major opportunity right now for you to start jumping back into the market. You'll be able to decide most of all those things. So let me share my screen again. Yeah, Spencer, I don't know if you have something to say. Let me share my screen for us to look at some other projects in the market and other opportunities and how some other coins performed. I don't know, Spencer, if you're there, if you can hear me.
Yeah, clearly, it's obvious that most of our chains of interest are not performing very well currently in terms of price action. So if you look at the price of ORI, it's almost at $1.
It's still almost at the
Same
same
thing.
place it has been for a while. It's been playing there for almost over a month now, I guess. It's been there.
Yeah, I think it was around 1.3, but now it has dropped to almost $1.
But, but then there's a project that, yeah, but then there's a project that we've talked about that we actually pushed and we're bullish on. When this whole PEP derivative started, Dexis, that's Trado.
Mm-hmm.
Trado, I still spoke
Yeah,
about it last
trouble.
week. Last week it was I spoke about, I told you guys that when it dumped to $1, that you should pay attention to it. It's very good for swings, like very, very good for swings. And it's also a good project. Last week it was at 2.5. It had recovered from $1 and it was at 2.5. I recall saying that I was unable to capitalize on it because I saw the dump, but before I could jump to buy at that $1, it had moved. Now it's at almost $6. I've been doing some campaigns. It's actually a DEX. I've been doing some. It's a DEX. If you remember the first time we spoke about Trado on Clubhouse, that should be last month. We shared it at below $1, I think. I guess so. We shared it at below $1. We first exited around 3 point something or even $4, and before it dumped again. It's a DEX that they enable like a privacy transaction. So it's similar to what Asta does. They have some of those features where you can mask transaction and it allows users to trade what's it called? Options. Yeah, options. That's call and put orders, which is something that I saw. It's about to become like a trend where we're beginning to see some dexes that are into options trading, which is different from futures trading because there's a time frame where it expires majorly. That's like the major difference. There's a time frame where it expires and there's no exaggerated leverage. And there's also a fixed amount you can lose. A very fixed amount you can lose. That's like one of the major difference between options and futures. But yeah, the token has actually been doing really, really well. Like it's been performing very well. There are also some other projects here, but I'm not really fan of most of these other projects. Aside Limitless, I'm not really a fan of most of these other projects. Dimension, I don't think I'm not holding any more Dimension. So let's see if there's any trend. Right now, what I'm looking at is some projects that dumped aggressively. I'm checking like eval. I bought more eval. I'll open eval shortly because eval dumped. The market dumped eval from 1M to below 700 or approximately 700k. Because when I checked my entry was around that 700k for eval. So eval actually dumped, and I've actually been waiting for eval to dump. I still said it last week that my first DCA was done around 800k. I was expecting it to crash to get to that 700, 650, and worst 500 range, but to be fair, 650. So I started doing my DCA as it started going down. As it dumped to 800, I did the first DCA. So seeing it at around 7, I just bought the little again. Still observing to see if it will still come down. For Sora is up almost 10% from my entry this morning. Because immediately I got up, I had to buy Sora. So it's up almost 10% because I got that almost 3 million. So it now is about almost 3.4, almost at 3.4. So it's up almost 10% for my entry. So, and if you check, I still said this yesterday too on the clubhouse. It has good volume. That's something you want to pay attention to. It has good volume, so it can handle like $10,000 buy or a $5,000 buy. But it can easily handle that. And if you're going in with the intention of swing, you don't need to be greedy. Yet you don't need to be greedy. Once it does a move up 25, 30%, you can take out your capital. You mustn't take profits, by the way, if you feel to still go higher. You can just take out your capital, basically. Aura dumped more. Aura actually dumped more because I checked it. Oh shit, it's up. Okay, it's still down. Okay, good. Aura dumped more, dumped about 900 and something, but I'm not buying more, by the way. I'm not. I'm still just holding what I got at around 1.1. I'm still holding that. And I did state it that usually it did range between 700K and 1M for a while before breaking out to almost 8M. So it's still within range. It's actually still within range. All that's needed right now is that hype of X402 protocol. So there are still some other projects too that people can also pay attention to. There's still so many other projects you can pay attention to. We're still going through a few of them which would communicate. There's a list that's making of some projects to look at. Shared some on Clubhouse. We shared some memes also on Clubhouse yesterday because I was looking at where I bookmarked most of them. So we actually did share it, which is one of the major reasons why people need to try and join some of those Clubhouse sessions. Mr. Miracle, I don't know if you have something to share before we round up. We've passed 28 minutes already.
Well, nothing much, nothing much. Let's just see how this market develops if we get other opportunities at the market.
Okay, so briefly, let's just look at crypto bubble to see diagram showcasing the outlook of things so far. But to be sincere, I don't think December is going to be like a bearish month. I don't think it will be like a red candle for some weird reasons. I just don't think December will be a red candle. But yeah, looking at crypto bubble, you can see my screen, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, yeah. Looking at crypto bubble, you can see that it's a perfect new month. It's red, like Christmas. It's the color, like it's actually red. It's filled with red, and you can see how badly most tokens dumped. Like you can see how badly most tokens dumped. That's why I look at this diagram most times. You can see how badly most of the tokens dumped. You can see most altcoins were down 10%, 8%. And it's just crazy that this whole dump happened in a space of 5-6 hours. We saw it. I don't think it was even up to 5-6 hours. And we saw all of those dump. That is why protecting profits, managing trade is extremely important. Like I keep saying it, it can't be overemphasized enough. We say it all the time. Managing your trades is very, very, very important. It's more important than even making profit, because if you follow the strategy that we always drop, which is once the trade starts moving in your direction, approaching TP1, it's time for you to now adjust that your stop loss to like your entry. Worst case, at least back to your entry. So if it starts going against you, you just break even. You didn't make profits, you didn't make loss. Break even and you're out of the trade. If for some persons you can adjust it to slightly below TP1, you can actually do that. I don't know if I could just share this. Let me share my screen to show an example with that LTC trade. Let me just show. This is the last sharing of screen before we call it a day. Just to show an example with the Litecoin trade. The one I didn't adjust, it hit SL and I lost in that trade. It actually did hit stop loss and I actually lost that particular trade. And it wasn't fun, it was annoying because instantly like this trade was a profit. Why did I even not even adjust this thing? Suddenly, you will now start forgetting why you refuse to adjust it. Suddenly, you start forgetting why you refuse to adjust it. But it's very, very important. This one here that we took on Friday, I said it in the group. We posted it in the group when it was approaching the trend line and all of those stuffs. And we said it manage your trades. It had already hit TP1, approaching TP2, and it faced the trend line resistance. It went above it, but it didn't close above it, didn't break it. There was a rejection, which was also from here. Now this trade was managed properly, so it didn't hit stop loss, exited with profit. Same thing with this one too, except for one of my accounts where I did not and I left it and it hit. Yes, so now imagine if there was no stop loss in that account and that account can't withstand this trade dropping all the way to 78 or $80, then the account will be liquidated. That's why most people make mistakes too, to be liquidated. That's why that stop loss is very important. So the same way stop loss is important is the same way to managing of trades too. Is very, very, very important. Let me bring this down to somewhere here. You can see it clearly. We did 1 to 1.3, whereas the full TP was almost at 1 to 3 that I shared. The full TP was 1 to 3 basically. Or you can see that this trade had gone and it has passed some of the resistance. It was now facing another major one. You just have to manage the trade. If you don't want to put your SL directly below, maybe somewhere like this, these other zones, if you don't want to do that, then you can just keep it here so that you exit the trade with no profit and no loss. You can just move it and keep it here. You exit it with no profit and no loss. Yeah, most times you can just do that. Or simply put, you put it here. You protect 1 to 1. You protect 1 to 1. So in case it starts going against you, you exit at 1 to 1. So if it gets back here, you're feeling like it's still bullish. You want to get back in. Well, when the trade gets back to entry, you're feeling like, let me get back in again. It's still bullish. You get back here and you put your stop loss below, and it gets back to that your stop loss. Automatically, what it means is you didn't make profits, because the profit you made here, you just lost it because you entered again since it was 1 to 1. Just lost it because you got back in. So technically speaking, there was no profit, there was no loss from that particular trade. Yeah, so it's very, very important to manage your trades, like extremely important. It's not advisable for you to just enter most trades and just leave it like that. You're not checking, you're not managing, especially if that trade was not done with a large or a long time frame. If it was a trade like that LTC trade, it was done based on 1 hour, maximum 4 hours. It wasn't done based on a daily chart or weekly chart. It was just 1 hour chart that stuff was done. So it usually has like an expiration period most times for all of those trades if it doesn't move towards your direction. And especially in the crypto market where BTC tends to decide most of the stuffs that happen, we made it very clear. If BTC dumps from that 90 something K without altcoins repricing or moving up in value, they will crash more than they had before. Like, we made that very, very clear, and that's just what happened. So you need to pay attention to most of these things. And I also made it very clear that is why any of those trades you're entering, as you're seeing profit, adjust your SL. Even in spot trades these days, you can adjust your stop loss. In spot trades these days, you can even put trailing stop loss. Even in spot trade, you can put, Binance has it, Bybit has it too. You can put trailing stop loss, where as it's going up, it is automatically adjusting your stop loss. You don't have to manually do it. Like, you don't have to manually do it. As it's going up, even on futures trade, as it is going up, it's automatically adjusting your stop loss. So, like in the case of LTC, go from 84 to, let's say, 85. And your SL, you put it to just track it by 0.2. As it's at 85, as it was at 84, your stop loss will be at 83.8. As it is at 85, your stop loss will be at 84.8. Automatically, it's moving it if you use that trailing stop loss. But the catch is you need to pick the exact a good difference, not something so small that if you just do small correction that's taking you out of the trade, you need to put something reasonable. If, for example, this BTC trade that I entered, I want to use trailing stop loss, I can put the trailing stop loss to like $500, for example. So as BTC is at 86,700 now, and my entry was around 85K, and BTC is at 86,700. If BTC dumps to 86,200, it take me out of that trade. Even if I'm not in my system, I don't need to adjust. If BTC goes to 88K, my stop loss will automatically adjust to 87,500. So that stop loss will be tracking the difference by $500 automatically. So if BTC pumps to like 89K, my stop loss will automatically reprice to like 85,500. And if BTC starts dumping, it will take me out at that 85,500. So the only time I'll be taken out of that trade is if BTC corrects by $500. So that is the catch. You need to find a good balance. If it's an Ethereum trade, so you need to also check properly what price does Ethereum really correct by. You need to like track it properly. Maybe Ethereum might be, I don't know. I'm not on any Ethereum trade, so I can't really say, but maybe Ethereum might maybe $40 difference. If you entered at let's say 2780, 2,780, for example, you can put maybe $40 or $50 after checking to see reasonably what price Ethereum corrects by. So that way, even if you're not looking, as long as it has started going towards your direction, if it tends to correct by that figure, it just takes you out of the trade. It just takes you out of the trade. Sometimes you can put something larger. There are some persons that BTC own. Since my entry was 85K and BTC has gotten to 86,700, they can put like 1.5. They can put 1.5. So if BTC moves to 87, the only time they'll be taken out is if BTC corrects by 1,500, which is to like 85,500, which is still above their entry. If BTC moves to 88K, they'll only be taken out if BTC dumps by 1.5, which will be that to like 86,500, which is still above their entry. So it is still in profit. So most persons tend to do that if the market is too volatile. You know, for BTC to dump by 1.5, and that means that might be like a very serious dump that is about to happen. But those small minor correction spikes will not take them out. For some persons, that's why they do it. But me, I do know if I was to do that in this today's trade, it's $500. I'll track it by. So if it corrects by 500, it can just take me out of the trade. Yeah, so I think we've spent about 40 minutes. That's all we're taking for today. Most of the questions here are just based on the dump that happened, and it's not really questions. So I want to think that most persons are still actually in shock. But you have to take this market as a business. It's not a leisure. It's real money that you're actually exchanging hands. It's real money that you're playing with. So you have to treat it as such. Thanks very much, guys, for making our time to join, and see you guys tomorrow. And usually Mondays are not the best time to call how the week would be. Most times it's Tuesdays, Wednesdays that give you like insight, especially Tuesdays to Wednesday. That will give you an insight of what the market will play out. For Mondays, most times just allow it to settle. So these Chinese guys, as they woke up based on that bearish news that they dropped, most of them just panicked and sold. That's most likely what happened in the market. But yeah, see you guys same time tomorrow. We do this every morning from 10 o'clock till 10:20. But it might go beyond 20 minutes sometimes. So see you guys tomorrow, and do have a lovely day. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.